My name's Christian, and I just wanted to take the next few minutes to talk about something that, I do often, and something that we all should be doing, especially at a time like this where so much of our world is turned upside down. And times like this call for self-evaluation. Some of you may do this already, and you've never put a label on it. But evaluating ourselves is a great way to judge where we are personally and where we are with God. Self-evaluation can be simply as taking inventory of who we are and where you are, deciding on, if what we are doing is God's best for you, or are you settling for what's easy or distracting? We hang out with Brixton and Easton a lot, which are Pastor Chris and Annalise's kids, and they're all about, what's shiny or what's new. And so, those are the distracting things. So are we doing what is God's best, or are we getting distracted by what is, new or fresh or right in our face? So to help me explain this a little better, we're gonna go look at the life of David. Just a little backstory on David. He was a shepherd. He was anointed to be king over the rest of his brothers. If I'm not mistaken, he had about 7 brothers. And so whenever Samuel came to his father's house, all the brothers were like, "Oh, it's me, it's me, it's me." And Samuel was like, "Do you not have another son?" And he was like, "Well, we got David out in the field." He was like, "Well, call for him. Let's try it out. Let's try David out and see if he's the one that's supposed to be king." So David comes in, he gets anointed to be king. Everybody's mad except for David. He's like, "Yeah, this is amazing." So there's that. Then he kills a lion and a bear with his bare hands. His bare hands. Pretty amazing. And then he also kills Goliath. And Goliath was a huge Philistine, and he killed him with a sword by cutting his head off. But before that, he actually threw a rock with a slingshot. And a lot of us know that story, and it's something that we've heard for the many years that we've been in church. So we kind of know that. And then he actually gets chased by Saul, and then after Saul dies, he becomes king. We are actually going to focus on the latter half of David's life, and this is when David is king already. He's been king for a while now, and they're in war. So David is the leader or the king in wartime, and at this time he sends all of his men to go fight, and he stays back, which is very uncommon. At that time for a king to stay back and not fight in the war that's going on. So with all that being said, in 2 Samuel 11, David sees Bathsheba and gets his servants to bring her to him. He really likes Bathsheba, but he finds out later that she's married. And so for David, that doesn't really stop him from getting what he wants. So he has her husband sent to the front lines of war to be killed. So he wasn't technically killing her husband himself, but he knew that if he sent him to the front lines of war, he would die. And so in verse 26 of 2 Samuel 11, when Uriah's wife, Bethesda, heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. After that time of mourning was over, David had her brought to the house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord. So the reason I give you this story is because David is a prime example of someone who has a purpose and has a destiny. And because Jesus died on a cross, all of us, we have a purpose and we have a destiny. So that's given to us by God. And so God set him up as king, but because he didn't self-evaluate, he made some terrible choices. Now, I know that you guys aren't having people killed to get what you want. At least I hope not, and I'm pretty sure. But, what are some areas where you could be better? What habits could you have gotten into over quarantine that would have been more beneficial than Netflix and video games, or, just sitting around the house or sleeping, So this is something that I had to do this week. I had to self-evaluate, and was I letting my job dictate my attitude? Was I asking Jesus to help me before I just tried to fix a situation? You may be asking yourself, how do I self-evaluate? How do I get God's perspective on my life? And David actually tells us, after David essentially killed Uriah and he stole his wife, he got her pregnant, and after all that, he felt convicted by God, and he went into like this super introspective time with God, and he wrote this in Psalms. He said, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that could offend you, and lead me along the paths of everlasting life." As Christians, we self-evaluate with Jesus. We can't just do it alone, because we have that relationship with God, and we want God's perspective for our life. It allows us to be free and stay on the right track in all reality. We don't have to be in sin to self-evaluate. So whenever we sin, we ask for repentance. That's the kind of order of things. But for self-evaluation, it can be any time. And so for me, I've actually started to do, I do it about once a week, and I take inventory. I ask myself a series of questions. Do my actions say that I love Jesus? Do my coworkers know that I, am a Christian? Have my actions this week portrayed that? Does my wife know that I love her with words and my actions? Where in my character can I be better? For self-evaluation, it doesn't have to be, solely about our Christian walk. It can be our character as well, which is, can bleed into our Christian walk. So I know that a lot of you, your questions are going to be different. The things that you ask yourself aren't going to be, wife and husband based. They're going to be, where you are in your season right now. And so a lot of your questions might be similar to these. Do my friends know that I'm a Christian by my words and my actions? Does my family know I care about them? Is my attitude changed by the friends that I hang out with? Is there someone I need to forgive today? And so asking questions like these and meditating with Jesus on, how you can go about fixing or, maneuvering these questions or these times, can help you and keep you centered on Jesus and focused on what the plans He has for you. So, one thing that I want to get, across to you guys is whenever we self-evaluate, we take time to see us from a different perspective, because a lot of times we just want to be right. It doesn't matter, or let me say this, we want to win. And so for me being married, I've had to realize that if I want to win, I can argue a point that's wrong. I can continue to be, or I can have a piece of character that is outside of what is right if I want to win. But if I want to be right, I have to decide that I can put that away. Just because I've gone on a path a long time doesn't mean that it's the right path. And so I challenge you with that today. I pray that you guys take some time, take a few minutes and just sit down and just say, Jesus, where can I be better? Because when we do that, it puts us in a place where we can grow. and we're not sitting with old habits. You know, a habit can be great, but if it's a bad habit, it pulls on you. So whenever we grow, whenever we ask Jesus to help us grow, and we self-evaluate in those times, our character can grow and we can become a better person. And our relationship with Jesus can go so much further. So guys, I love you, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I really can't wait to see you guys. So we will be together soon again, and I love you guys. See you later. Bye.